all are voting on issues that affect us all, but there's there isn't a process where we get to be a part of that in the beginning or in the middle or anything. So that that's something that I think you all should consider seriously. Um, if you're willing to do it, I'm willing to work with you. I'm pretty sure Mrs. Back is willing to work with you, and I see it just says Linda's phone. So Miss Linda, I'm pretty sure they would be willing to collaborate with you all and figure out a process that brings our community and the trustees together to solve the problems that we are having, in Jefferson Township. So I think we should be all, pushing forward the same goal, and that's why I'm, extending the olive branch. Like, hey, let's figure out a way to get the residents involved in the conversation so that you'll definitely be moving in the direction that the residents want. Hitting the marks and taking care of the things that need to be done in the township.
Randall?
Yes.
So you're asking, so that would be limited to people with internet access. Could we start out with a resolution that would have a blank form that a resident could fill out and file with the township that this coming Tuesday meeting, I want to talk about this. And we can start off with that and see if that would work. And then the second...
So that's a start. Exactly. Okay. So we have nothing.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm proposing you all come together and let's get something started. But you can always tweak it. So...
Okay, and then your second comment...
in place.
Your second comment is in relation to waiting to the end of the meeting to let residents' comments come out. And right. I think before my time, I think I've heard Tracy and other people mention that years ago, they used to do it in the beginning of the meeting. Have you ever remember that, Tracy? Was that ever done in the beginning of the meeting?
If Mr. Mann remembers too, they moved it around several times and they came back to this decision that this is where they wanted it to be. Because it didn't work wherever you put it. Just for me to put an input possibly, and that work session is only an hour and it's limited to an hour, that possibly maybe that should be brought up on those days that have been heard the work session is worthless. On those days that we don't have anything in detail, we get done in 5 minutes, maybe that should be discussed possibly during a work session. That way it's not taking up so-called business session, and then it can go in more details during our regular meeting, which is now. So the 6 o'clock meeting could possibly address some of those, and then you guys, the trustees, can decide what you want to bring in the regular meeting to the table and discuss it further. That's just a suggestion.
Right, that way, because by that point, you all are voting, but if the residents attended the 6 o'clock, those that, had questions or concerns or things of that sort, yeah, that would happen before you all actually made a decision, which then does make sense because you are getting the feedback and input from, those that your decisions affect. And you have to remember that everything that you all do, it has an impact either directly or indirectly. It has an impact on me and everyone else, including you all. Mm-hmm. So we need to be very careful with what we're doing and how we're going about it.
Okay.
And so that's why I'm proposing that. Just like, and there's small things that that I've noticed, just like today. And this is not to browbeat or put anybody down. We're trying to be better at what we do. Is my hope and guess. But just like there was an example of mowing the grass. I can tell that there's no real process in place, and that's an issue. And I'll tell you why that's an issue. That's an issue because these are activities that occur on a regular basis. Cutting grass, snow removal. This township's been here for a long time. I mean, if you go back in, the inception of the township, we should have those things down to a science. We should not be figuring out, oh, well, today we're going to do this. So there's definitely a need for, to put some processes in place. I don't know whose job that is. I'm not pointing any fingers, but it's apparent that it's not in place. So those are, some things to consider. And then another thing that I noticed was that you brought up hiring some individuals, but then there was a question of, it sounds like you weren't sure if there's even money in the budget. So, how can you hire someone if you're not, or there's a difference between considering, hey, we're thinking about hiring someone, but you want to make sure the money is there. And then along with hiring, Mr. Wolf brought up a comment that, which it sounds good in theory, that you have to be a Jefferson Township resident. In all reality, what I believe the residents would probably want is the most qualified individual for the job. So, if you put a job posting out there in the job description and the job specification, which goes back to what Ms. Back said, hey, this is what we're looking for. These are what these individuals have to have these qualifications or meet these standards. If they don't meet those standards, then we need to look outside of Jefferson Township when it comes to, posting positions and things of that sort, because it does us no good to hire someone just because they live here if they are not capable and qualified to handle the job. So, those are just some things that I'm suggesting that you all consider. And I appreciate you all taking the time to let me and Ms. Back, talk today and be a part of what's going on. And hopefully going forward, we can, collaborate and keep moving in the right direction is what I'm hoping. So that's all I have tonight. And thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Randall. It has not gone on deaf ears. We will work with you on making some improvements.
Okay. Thank you. And like I said, I'm here to, I want to help, but meet me halfway, and I'm good at a lot of things, and I'm willing to help out. just got to be willing to collaborate and work with someone.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, this is Bruce Rowley, 246 South Diamond Mill, and I have a question. Again tonight, I've heard the term Quint and aerial ladder mentioned as equipment for the fire department. Is that the next piece of equipment the fire department is going to purchase?
Let me speak on that one. No, the next piece of equipment that the fire department is planning on getting is going to be a tanker. Now, it's going to take a little over a year for the tanker that's been spec'd out. But we got to get looking at a couple of tankers to use in the meantime before we get the new one.
That's fine, because we voted 3 years ago for a tanker, and you purchased that fire truck that you got now, and we still don't have a tanker. But again tonight, I heard the term, so you show me a tanker, you show me the specs. Gene Lutz had specs for a tanker on his desk. I saw them. So I understand it takes a while to build one, but I'm still waiting for you to even order it.
All right. The fire chief knows about that. Anything?
I understand the chief knows about it, but he answers to everybody else. So you're going to stand on your word of ordering a tank?
Yeah, there will be a tanker ordered.
Mr. Man, can I say something? Is there a process, isn't there? And I guess Steve might be able to answer it better. Is there a process that has to go through? Don't you guys have to approve it? That was what held us up the last time. It didn't get approved a while back when Chief Lutz brought it to the trustees. So, Mr. Wolf, can you explain that?
Yes, the resolution was approved. The trustees signed the resolution. and he wants every authority to go by. I have the resolution in my office, a copy of it. I don't have the original. It never got ordered. So the resolution is still standing, as I mentioned during the budget or our discussion during the work session, and the money was to be appropriated to order that truck. We will not have a payment due till it's delivered, which may be a year to a year and a half from now. As Assistant Chief Wilcox talked about COVID slowing down production of all products in the United States. Our engine will take longer to have engine tanker get here. But the authorization was voted on and passed for Chief Lutz in 2020, and it did not get ordered. So Chief right now is working with a consultant to make sure that the specs are done equally to be able to advertise an RFP, request for proposal, instead of just calling reps and having specs sent as Chief Lutz did. We're going to go through the legal process as all trustees have told us to do, is to follow our acquisition policy. So we're in the middle of drafting that up now, and we'll be back to the trustees soon to advertise for that engine tanker that Mr. Rowling had asked about. But again, it should have been ordered in 2020, and it was not.
Any other?
Mr. Wolf is correct. It just came to a screeching halt. The manufacturers would not send their reps to our building. They would not allow us to go to their building to take a tour because of the COVID. So it really just put everything on hold.
I muted it. With the dog park, I muted it.
So again, I will speak for the trustees. I kept asking for the RFP to be done regardless of whether you could have a rep come to your building. We voted on it and vote on the results of who wants to bid on your product. We'll then go out and talk to reps and try to get special rates from different. That's not the RFP process. We tried in 2020 to have that done, and it was not done. So I have proof writing online, getting the RFP ready now, regardless of the market, regardless of the engineering. We will hear that. Other vendors may make their proposal. But you don't want to be negotiating with a vendor without having the RFP advertised and part of the legal process.
The only RFP I see out there would be resolution 20 resolution would be 20-104. And it's asking for RFP. Was there another resolution saying that go ahead and purchase it, or is that the one that includes whatever we get? Go ahead, because I think we got the RFP, but they never agreed to purchase it.
The RFP was never run, but the resolution was passed giving the fire chief the authority to go buy that truck, which included running an RFP process. And that was a responsibility at the time of the fire chief. And it did not get done. So, to answer your question, you're right. It did not get done. And it's because the resolution was not carried out by the former fire chief.
Okay.
We have to start the process all over again.
Any other comments by citizens?
Well, we'll see. Being in the fire service, the truck you just purchased does not impress me in the least. So are you going to spec a tanker, or are you just going to buy the first one that comes down the road?
They have, and correct me, is Chief still on the air? Gray, can you answer that question? You got...
No, I wasn't involved on this process, so I'm not sure what his plans are on it. I'm sorry.
I can some information, Mr. Mann. The RFP process requires a spec. Will do a spec for the RFP. All vendors will have to put a proposal in based on that spec. So everyone has the same level playing field, and they can submit or fail to submit if they don't meet that spec. But right now, the chief is meeting with a consultant to develop the spec, so there's a unified spec and not a spec from each manufacturer to chart from. So the process will be followed as manual or as generic as possible to make sure that everyone has the option to bid on the same spec. And that is in the process now.
Okay. Bruce, did that answer your question?
As best I can understand his poor microphone, I'll accept that for now, but I'll be watching.
All right. Any other comments? Okay, if not, we will.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor. I'm sorry. I just have a quick comment. Do we know or have any idea when meetings may resume, in-person meetings may resume again, or?
At present time, I'm gonna say no, but we'll take a look at that and maybe we can give you some idea at the next meeting.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, Mr. Mike, I'll go first since I'm talking already. There's a lot of things going on. We have, just like the fire department, we have some people that's taking the COVID test, some people are not. So you as citizens, you're gonna have to wear if you have not had the test, you may want to wear your mask. Now that's up to you. But some people have taken this, some people have not. What I advise you to do, everyone, is to look at those long-term effects that this COVID is having, especially with our young people. So that's what the problem is coming in now. So they said we're up to, I guess, about 200,000 people so far, and I figure we have in an area 330 million people. So it's up to you, and they are recommending when you wear this mask, you got something that's have 5 layers of material in there, or N95, or there's another KN95. So you need to watch yourself. And I wear a mask anytime I go out of the house, or anytime I get into a group of people that I don't know. I wear my mask and I keep it on. And with some of my relatives, I wear a mask because some people does not have that test. And you need the test. They're not saying this just to be saying it. Be aware of that so that you're going to be safe. And we will let you know. We're keeping tab on who is starting back. Some churches are starting back, and but any business place you go into, you have to have a mask on. Mr. McLaughlin.
Yes. I guess I'm gonna start off with the spraying. I mentioned last meeting in my comments that I was gonna do some spraying, and I got my sprayer out, and it needs some parts. But I will step up and spray the cemetery, the fire stations, and stuff that needs sprayed in the township to help out. I've seen things in different departments that I feel that in time we need to step up and take care of. Just misuse of money, and we need to really step up and sharpen our pencils on POs and how we spend money. And with my employer, you have to get money approved before you can spend it. Any pennies at all. If I want to buy filters, if I need to buy chemicals, whatever, I bought a bunch of chemicals today, and I have to fill out a PO process. we have that process in the township, but it's not abided by. It's not lived to. That would make Tracy's job so much easier. But there's things that I'm looking at, and things that in time we need to improve in this township to make this a better place. And I really appreciate the residents making their comments today. And we will listen to you and work together to make improvements in this township. Thank you very much.
All right, we appreciate everyone tuning in to Zoom, and will see you in a couple weeks.
Make a motion to adjourn, and don't forget we had. Wait.
Take a vote. You say.
Yeah. We got to have a. I'll make a motion to
Motion and a
adjourn.
vote.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
Miss Edwards, can we have a roll call, please?
Trustee McLaughlin,
Yes,
trustee Mann.
Yes.
we are adjourned. What time is it?
8:30. Go ahead. 8:31.
Okay. See you on the beach here, Randall.
Mr. Fletcher.
Okay.
Have a
You have a good one too.
evening.
Thanks, Chief.
Yeah.